Good morning, everybody. It is good to see all of you today. This is Heather Nichols for the Tailored Expressions live today. Welcome, welcome as you pop in. Let me know you're watching. I'm trying to pull up the comments here and I'll be able to see your, not your smiling faces, your happy messages that you send me every time you join me today. If you're coming back, thanks for coming back after all of the crazy crafty mishaps that we had last week. I'm just keeping it real for all of you guys because I know that this is how it goes at your desk too. And I am a poster child for making a lot of messes and mistakes when we craft, and I think that all of us who craft are familiar with that. I don't think there's anybody that's perfect. And you know, for me, I'm planning out all of the pieces to make it run smoothly. And it's just, that's real life, you guys. So good morning. I see you guys popping in. Good morning, April. Good morning, Mindy. It is good to see you. It is beautiful this week in Minnesota. We have finally kind of broken some of those hot temperatures. It is cool. I don't think are supposed to get out of the upper 60s today, which I will take. That is my jam. I love it. It feels very fall this week. Good morning. Good morning, Susan from Silver Bay. I love the North Shore. Dawn, good morning. Good morning, David. Good morning, Deneen. Good morning, Rachel. Yeah, I bet. Hot, smoky Oregon. You guys have a lot of fires going on out there. We do get a little of that. Our sunsets are very orange from all of the smoke. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning. You guys are buzzing in now. So yeah, it is beautiful outside. It is, I am not a super hot weather girl. I love Minnesota for our cooler weather and our winters. I like winter. That's just what it is. So I know some people enjoy this hot weather. Summer's winding down. It is, wow, we're into August, you guys. I think I talked to you last week on August 1st, and we are now a week into August already. It feels like summer kind of went pretty fast. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those fall temperatures. Speaking of fall, it was our Halloween release this week at Tailored Expressions, right? Halloween and some fall stuff too. And so we have been dreaming about fall and all of the fun things that come with it, like the colored leaves and the Halloween candy, all of that. So yeah, so you guys got to join Taylor on Tuesday to see all of the new things that came out and all of the projects that the design team made. And if you stop by the blog, Alicia had a video up for that cute skeleton staying alive set. And then today on the blog, I have a video up with my Plentiful Pumpkin collection, which I shared a sneak peek of those projects last week. And so you can see how I created the cards and the tags. I do a card just completely with the stamp and stencil set, and I use the die cut. This is a good one. I really love how this turned out. I used a little bit different color combination than I would normally pick for a fall project too, and I really like how it turned out using peaches and cream. So make sure you check it out. I have projects on my blog from Tuesday and also on the TE blog today and the YouTube channel. You can check out my video. So yes, I love all fall and Halloween things too, Vicki. It is super good. So I have a Halloween project to share with you today, which we'll get to that in just a little bit. I went a little throwback with this one. So we're using some products that were previously released, and we're playing around with that tea maker challenge again this week, which you think spearmint and sour gummy, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Is that Halloween? I made it happen. So yes. April, you're dreaming of fall Christmas? Yes, that's how it goes. And you guys, Christmas stuff is going to be flying in. We already had our Christmas in July stuff, but Christmas product is coming so fast, you guys. We have August. We are not in April. August has a bunch of stuff coming up here. So speaking of stuff going on right now, besides our Halloween release, the other thing that's going on, and I mentioned it last week and Taylor's talked about it, is we have our retirement sale. So we have a category on our website of retirement products, and these are products that once they're gone, they're gone. And we are going to do one last push. I'm going to put up a graphic here. Right now, there are 40% off, but you get additional 10% off with this coupon code, 10 more. If you want to pick up those last minute things, we are doing this through Monday and then Tuesday. All of those products are going to be pulled and they are not going to be available anymore. So go check out that retirement sale. If there's anything in there that you were thinking about getting or wishing you had or anything like that, this is your last chance to get those things. And you get an additional 10% off with that coupon code. So write it down. Make sure you make plans to do that before through next Monday so that you get, and go sooner than later, because of course the best selection is right now. And then by the time the weekend goes through, people are going to have been picking up their favorite things. So that's what's going on right now for the retirement sale. So we have Halloween, we have retirement, and next week, I'll just tell you now, we don't have any new product coming out. We have a very busy last couple weeks of August. We do have a kit coming out at the end of the month, and we also have, I know you guys are excited about the Pick Your Pairings thing that we did, where you guys got to give us suggestions for products to go with things that we already had. That's coming up soon too. So make sure you're staying in tune with our social media, get our newsletter, all of that stuff, so that you can stay on top of all of that. And of course, we'll tell you all the things, right? So, and looks like there is a post from Charlie on where to shop for the retirement sale, so make sure you stop and do that. It's either Charlie or Whitney. I'm not sure who's behind that today. So let's talk about that tea maker challenge. We talked about this last week. This month, it is a color challenge. So your challenge this month is to use sour gummy and spearmint with any other colors of your choice. So you can post projects in the Fans of Tailored Expressions Facebook page. You can post up to 3 projects. Use that hashtag to be eligible for the drawing. We will draw for 4 $25 store credits. So not only are you sharing so we can see all of your pretty things that you make, but also you have a chance to win a credit to go shopping, which, what is better than that, right? Okay, let's flip back up to me. Issa says, take inspiration pictures of what you order from retirement, because once they're gone, yes, once we pull them from our website, you might be able to do some internet searches. We do have a lot of things posted on Pinterest as well. But yes, if you're trying to make those inspiration files, it's a good idea. It's Charlie. Good morning, Charlie. Yes. And Charlie just said the same thing I did. Some of those projects are on Pinterest, so you'll be able to find them. So, okay, are you ready to start crafting? Let's do some more Halloween crafting. You guys are gonna recognize a lot of these products that I used today. You might have them in your collection. If you don't have them in your collection, you could pick them up because they're all available in the Tailored Expressions web store. And a lot of them coordinate with products that we just released this week. So, in fact, I did use one new thing this week. I used the sentiment set. So let's flip down to my desk and I'll show you what we're making today. So I went and pulled this is a set I designed, this Layer It pumpkin set. And when I originally made projects with this, I used these pumpkins for more of a fall themed project. And I wanted to do something more Halloween. And other people on the design team definitely did Halloween, but I didn't at the time. And so this time I did. So we're going to create a Halloween project with that. Joan, you're asking about sneak peeks. There are no sneak peeks for next week. We have some promotions coming up, so make sure you stop by and check that out. So let's go ahead and get creating. So we're going to do a little bit of color blending. And if you take a look there, you're going to see colors from our TE Maker Challenge. There's our spearmint, there's our sour gummy, and I was thinking about this after. This is not blue raspberry like I used last week. This is actually poblano pepper, but it does kind of have a similar look. But I thought these 3 worked really well in this blend. So why don't we go ahead and do the pumpkins first. So let's get out the die cut machine and start cutting to create with the Layer It pumpkins set. It's telling me I have new comments. Usually it just scrolls. Okay. So Layer It Pumpkins has 3 different pumpkin sizes. So it has a base layer. It has a layer that will add kind of shading and detail. You don't have to use this layer, but you definitely can add a little bit more texture and dimension to your pumpkin. And then we have the stems that go on the top. So I am going to cut out, let's see, I'm going to cut out enough to do a card with the 3 pumpkins, and I'm going to do the opposite of what I did here. So I'm going to do a lighter colored pumpkin there, and then the darker pumpkins on the side this time. The other card just has 2 pumpkins, so they're pretty much exactly the same card, except one has 3 pumpkins and one has 2 pumpkins. So that's just how it worked out. So I've got, these of course are our oranges. We've got our candy corn, our sweet potato pie, and our pumpkin. And I'm gonna cut out the largest pumpkin from the candy corn. And then we're gonna cut out the other size pumpkins with the sweet potato pie. This was a fun project to do because it was just fun to go and just visit my box. I keep my stamp sets and dies and things like that kind of separated by theme. And so I just have a box that's Halloween and fall, and I visited my Halloween and fall box and just took inspiration. I had all sorts of stuff pulled out around my desk, and this is what happened. And I think these are really fun kind of creative sessions to have. And I kind of started out by just making a lot of pumpkins and just kind of going from there. I also cut out the detail layer from the sweet potato pie, and this is gonna go on our candy corn pumpkin to add that dimension. Okay, and then out of the pumpkin cardstock, we are going to do the detail layers for the smaller pumpkins that I cut out of the sweet potato pie cardstock. Deb, you said you love how the design team has been using teal colors. I think that was actually something that was inspiring to me. Jill Hawkins did a couple of projects that used teal colors with oranges. And I think then when I was thinking about what I was going to do for this week and thinking about that maker challenge, and I'm like, oh, that would be fun to try to play with that. And it was a very fun, to play with that. And I think that's something that, you know, we're inspired by each other on the design team all of the time. Okay, I need a piece of green tea cardstock for the stems. I have my stems all connected together. I'm just going to send that through. I'm going to do a little blending to add just a little bit of extra dimension. Get my stems. Where is my little die pick? I am really at the point where it's time to order new plates for this big shot. We have talked about this through the months. I have cracked it. This is definitely worn to pieces. I use it a little bit. Okay, so we've got our detail layers. Let me grab all of my pieces here. I'm missing this one, this one. So this is going to go with this pumpkin. This one's going to go with this pumpkin. Here's my stems. We're just going to set those up here right now. And I am, oh, it's stuck in the die. Like I was missing one of these. Oh, April, you're right. The teal pumpkins mean allergy-free. I usually do a bowl. We haven't been doing candy a lot lately. Both my girls are grown and everything, and but when I do, I definitely have a like an allergy-free thing and get little bracelets and things like that. Okay, let's start with this one, and we're going to add just a little shading to that top and the bottom of that pumpkin. I have a candy corn pumpkin, and I'm adding sweet potato pie ink to add just a touch of color, and I just messed up that stem, but good thing I'm going to glue another stem right over the top of that. So I'm hitting that top and that bottom and kind of up the sides of that pumpkin. Like that. And sweet potato pie on here. Just hitting again, just that top and that bottom. Then on these smaller pumpkins, we're going to do our shading with the pumpkin ink. It's very subtle, but it definitely adds that extra touch of dimension. Okay, so let's grab that pumpkin ink. I'm going to set this aside. We're going to add a little blending to the top here. Has it been discontinued, the pumpkin cardstock? I don't know. If you don't have pumpkin cardstock and it's not one we can get, you can always make your own by blending onto a piece of white cardstock. It could be one of those that's harder to get. All right, so let's add the pumpkin ink to the top and the bottom. Both the detail and the solid pumpkin layers. Oop. I should have gotten out my Scotch removable Post-it labeling tape, because that would hold these kind of delicate pieces together. Or I could have left those die cut pieces in there. It's okay. This worked just fine. Oh, you wonder if these pumpkins will fit on the sweaters. I think they're a little big. I can grab a sweater here and we can definitely try it. There are smaller pumpkins like in that, what do we have, that little Halloween set with all of the outline images that you can cut out at once. Those would fit on there. Somebody did a little critters thing on there, but I think that the pumpkin is too big. Hold on, let me grab one. And of course, this is gonna totally be not the right color, but yes. You could do a fall sweater and then have it holding the pumpkin. You could do that, but I think it's a little large for the sweater. So, good question though. Sometimes we get lucky and things like that work together. Okay, so let's glue these together. I've got my multimedia matte. That is my liquid adhesive of choice. There's of course lots of options out there. Just going to add some glue on the back here. And down these little detail pieces. I could have done a sticky sheet and cut it out, and actually I thought about doing that, but did I remember? No. This works just fine. And then on these two, if you take a look, there's kind of a rougher edge down here and a smoother edge at the top. The rougher, bumpy edge is the bottom of the pumpkin, and the top is the smoother edge of the pumpkin. And I'm going to use some of my magnets to just hold that down while the glue dries. I love these magnets for that. It makes gluing with liquid adhesive so much easier for me. And then we're going to do a little liquid glue on here. I can hear my daughter walking. She must be leaving for work. Oop. Get that glue on there. Oh, somebody's asking the big grumpy Halloween. Those are smaller, so I would wonder if those would fit. I do not have that one to try out. Okay, let's get a magnet. I have 4 of the magnets because 2 just did not seem like enough, and I do tend to use 4. The pumpkin could be the heads on sweaters. Is that like, is it no, not a roller skating, a skateboarding pumpkin person wearing a sweater? Is that what I'm thinking of? Or is that something completely different? Am I thinking of something not real? But there is somebody who wears fall sweaters with a pumpkin head, but I want to say there's somebody that skateboards wearing this ensemble. There are so many strange things that people decide to create that we all get a lot of entertainment out of, right? Okay, there's that one. And where's my last magnet? And we'll just pop that on there. This one is probably holding enough. We'll get that little stem on there. That fits right over that part there. Slide that right into place. There we go. Little liquid glue over here. For this stem, for this pumpkin. Look at that. And then we'll get glue on this one for the final one. Nope. Flip it over. Okay, and then next we're going to put some jack-o'-lantern faces on the pumpkins. All right. So there is our 3 pumpkins that we're going to use. Super cute. And like I said, you could leave them as is and use them for fall projects. But again, we're going to dress them up for Halloween. I'm going to set them right over here. I'm going to grab my die cut machine again. Hold on. My magnets are sticking to all of my dies. Oop, pumpkin, you're going to need to move over here. And we're going to use this jack-o'-lantern cutting plate. This cuts out all sorts of cute jack-o'-lanterns out of your cardstock if you want to make a fun dimensional background. There's also a stencil, so you can stencil these same designs. So you could technically, if you wanted to, take the stencil and stencil little faces on them. But I wanted to do something kind of glittery, and so we're going to use black glitter cardstock. And I've got a sticky sheet here because once we cut these out, these are all sorts of tiny little pieces, and the sticky on the back will help me kind of keep it where it's easy to adhere to the project. So I'm just going to line up, I know I don't need all of these faces, so I'm just going to line up my glitter sheet kind of at the top part of this. And then we're just going to send this through the die cut machine. Come back. And even these, though these don't look like they cut out, they are cut. They didn't, well, they look like they cut all the way through, but then I can just pick these pieces out. So you can, there's a good angle where you can see those faces have cut out of the glitter cardstock. So now I can decorate as many pumpkins as I want with all of these cute little jack-o'-lantern faces. So let's pull those pumpkins back in and pick a little face for each one. I'm gonna do the kind of where his mouth is wide open like that. Die pick is great to get these pieces off of here. So there's that guy. Look how cute he is. A little sparkly face on him. All right, let's do for this one, I'm gonna do this one right here, kind of a happy pumpkin. And that is not cooperating with me. We might have to pick a different face here. Oh, I think I got it. I am not sure what's happening. It looks like it has adhesive on the back. We're gonna go with it. There's our face. And our nose. And our eyes. For him. Whoop. Cute. And one more. So here's what we got. We got these cute little cuties. And of course, these would be so much fun on so many different kind of Halloween tags or all sorts of things like that. All right, one more face here. Let me see what I got. Let's do this guy. This is such a happy face on this guy. There are a few that are a little bit more on the scary, spooky side on the cutting plate. Here's a nose, and then let's grab some eyes. Oop, not up there. There we go, one eye and two eyes. All right, here's our 3 pumpkins that are ready for our project. And of course, if you're doing a bunch of cards, just make a bunch of pumpkins and then you have plenty to ready for your projects. So again, sometimes you're like, well, what should I sit down and create? I don't know. Make a bunch of pumpkins. And that I actually create like that a lot, where I'll create a lot of stuff and then create my cards. All right, let's move these aside. I'm going to save these because obviously I can use all these little faces for later. And let's go ahead and do a color blend with our TE Maker Challenge. So we're going to start off with a piece of sugar cube cardstock. Melissa, the faces came from I have some eyes stuck in there. This is the jack-o'-lantern cutting plate. That's what I used. And I cut into a piece of black glitter cardstock that I backed with a sticky sheet so that when these pieces come out, they have adhesive already on them. So that's what I did for that. So let's move on to this background. We're going to use that color challenge. These are the colors that I'm using. So Sour Gummy and Spearmint are the 2 that are in the TE Maker Challenge for the month, and then adding in another color. And I thought Poblano Pepper would be a really neat blend in between them. So let's start with the Spearmint. I'm actually going to use my ink cube because I felt like my pad, I need to order a re-inker for it. So we're going to go to the ink cube and add color. Spearmint is not a dark, deep color. I will say that. So if you're trying to get like this super saturated, well, there we go. That's me being heavy-handed and getting a lot of ink in one spot right there. This is normal for me. I get a lot of blotches and splotches and things like that. Taylor talked about this when she was doing some blending earlier in the week. And maybe starting off of your cardstock to smooth it, to have a light hand when you do it. I do not have a light hand. I am not a light blender. This is what happens for me. It's very forgiving. It works out. The blotches and splotches smooth themselves out. It's all good. All right, so the Spearmint there, this is gonna lighten up as it dries quite a bit. Because Spearmint, again, it's not a dark color. So obviously this ink cube has plenty of ink on it. All right, so let's go on to Sour Gummy. I'm gonna do Sour Gummy on this side, and then I'm gonna do the Poblano Pepper in the middle, just so I get kind of a, it seems to work good for me to kind of work that way. Here's my splotches and blotches, you guys. It works out, like I said. All right, so we've got Sour Gummy, we've got Spearmint. Let's go down the center with the Poblano Pepper. We'll go right down the middle, and then we're going to do some overlapping to make sure that we've got a nice blend going between all of the colors. I have a glitter eye. I have glitter eyes all over me. Glitter pumpkin eyes everywhere. All right, hitting between those two colors here, and then the colors here, and I'm going to come back with a little bit more spearmint here to kind of get that blend between the spearmint and the poblano pepper just a little bit smoother. All right. I mean, this is working out pretty good. And again, these are going to move and smooth out. I can guarantee this is a lot of what it looks like when I blend. Maybe I'll just sour gummy just a touch more right in here. Okay. So now that we're here, let's do some splatters. A little bit of splattering on my background and my pumpkins. That'll give this a chance to kind of spread out and dry a little bit. For Halloween, I grabbed the Oreo liquid watercolor. So I still have some chocolate truffle on there, but then I grabbed my Oreo because I thought I need some more black splatters for my projects versus more brown. I know you guys are looking super close at my splatters to see what color, right? All right, there we go. Some black splatters on those pumpkins and on that background. Let me grab my paper towel. Poblano pepper is very pretty. It's definitely a teal green lean. It has a real green lean to it. Kind of a jungly green. I would call that more of a jungle green color. It's very pretty. All right, so then for our white splatters, we've got our Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Pick up a little of that color. I like to just kind of spread it out on my lid here. You could use a block for that as well. And then we're gonna splatter. And you definitely don't have to splatter. I already know there are some people who do not like to splatter, and that's fine. I like the extra texture it adds to my project. When everything is dry and put together, it just adds that little bit of something. But if you like it clean, you don't want splatters, totally great. I am definitely, however you want to do it, however you like it. Linda, because of me, you now splatter a lot of your cards. I'm glad you love it. Okay, let's move these out of the way. I'm just going to clean up my glass mat just a little bit. I'm going to dab the white off of that mouth there. Let's see. It's usually pretty wet enough that I can get most of this off. A little bit of alcohol. I know I've shared this before, but if you're having trouble getting stuff off your glass mat, try using a Clorox wipe. I feel like the Clorox wipes break down a lot of the different things, and I can usually get most of things off of my mat with a Clorox wipe. Okay, so let's do this background. We've got it blended from the spearmint, the poblano pepper, and the sour gummy. And I had my mini Misty, there it is, right here. Mini Misties are perfect, the perfect size for backgrounds. We're gonna use the spider web background. So this was originally, I wanna say this is a couple years out. There are also obviously the foilet panels. I keep everything together so that if I'm thinking spider web and I pull this out, I'm like, oh, I could stamp, I could foil. What should I do? So I like to keep all of my things together. And then this stamp also has a clear stamp set with it to add stamped spiders and little words to it as well. We're just going to use the stamp. This is definitely a versatile one. If you go and look at a lot of the design team projects, there's a lot of spider web going on. Okay, so let's fit that in there. Look how perfect it fits into that mini Misty. A little bit of adhesive to hold my cardstock in place in there. Just kind of, actually we'll do this. If you want to make sure that stamp's going to cover your full piece of cardstock. So I have adhesive here. We're going to close that Misty from the back, just a little bit of pressure, and then it's going to pop it right in a really good spot. We're going to stamp this with Sugar Cube ink. If you joined me last week, you know I put my Sugar Cube ink onto a blue inked up stamp. It's looking pretty good. We cleaned it up during the live and I've used it this week. It's totally just fine. So if you wanted to catch that party, go watch the replay. That was a big oops. Peggy, the storage pockets I use are the ones that we sell at TE, and there are a bunch of different sizes. So I think this one is the large size. So this fits like a background stamp size. There is the extra large size here. This is the Ghost set. So this has stencils and things like that that go with it. And so I have this in a bigger one to accommodate the stencils. So, and I just use my typewriter to type the little labels for it. You could, of course, can get label makers and all sorts of things, but I have a typewriter and that's what I just decided to do. It works for me. Okay, so we're gonna stamp this. We're gonna ink this up in Sugar Cube ink and stamp this onto the blended cardstock. Got my Just Press tool so we can get a nice even coverage there. And that looks pretty good. I'm gonna do one more impression just to get a little bit extra brightness and crispness from that Sugar Cube ink. April, you bought all the products I'm using. You can get right to work. That's awesome. Whoop. Let me see if this one needs, sometimes if there's one little area that looks like it needs a little bit extra, I'll just kind of go and hit with the palm of my hand there. This is looking pretty good though. All right, so there is, which this itself, it looks so cool. I love stamping in white over a blended background. That's just a really fun look. I've also done where you stencil over a white back or a blended background in white as well. So fun. And look at that teal with that orange. Just pops. Super fun. So then we're going to cut out this background with one of the arch stack lists. This is another thing. If you take a look at, oh, and I just like dumped them everywhere. Look at kind of trends going on, not just in the paper crafting world, you guys, but also in just kind of regular stationery products and things like that. Arches are so in right now. We came out with that arched calendar earlier this year, and I just have been seeing arches ever since then, just everywhere. A lot of calendars I'm seeing for 2025 that are the little cards are in the arch shape like that. And a lot of people for the Halloween release use the arches as well. So I was inspired to pull out my arches to cut out the background for this card. And I think I used this one. I'm just going to grab one of my cards to see if I got that right. Yes. So if this is not something you have, this is a great set to have. Let's grab that die cut machine again. Get my little pumpkins up here so they are out of the way. All right, we're gonna cut out this background with the arch. I'm gonna make sure I get all of my colors in. So I've got my spearmint and my poblano pepper and my sour gummy. I'm gonna move it like right about there. That feels good. And we're gonna cut that out. So there's our arched spiderweb background. Obviously you could use this, a strip of spiderweb on another project. It's up to you. I'm trying to think if I've got anything else to cut. I think we're done die cutting now. Because I die cut the other pieces we're going to use. So next we're going to do a sentiment on our arch. So the pumpkins are going to go on the bottom down here. I can do them kind of about here, and then so we need a sentiment right about there. So let's swap out this background stamp, and we're going to do a sentiment. So again, we're going to pop this in here with a magnet, but I'm also going to use one of the clear alignment panels. This is sold in a set of some different sizes of panels. So if you were going to stamp a sentiment or something directly on something else, and you need to have a little bit more, visual over how that's going to look. So we're going to set that right over the top of this panel. I'm going to grab this Trick or Treat sentiment and line that up where I think it's going to go. I think just up from there, just a little bit. Maybe just a little touch more up. I'm just trying to see, gauging on this pumpkin, the tallest pumpkin. We're going to pick it up. I'm going to make sure this looks straight. This is a sentiment where it's not so critical that it's absolutely straight, because it's kind of a jig-joggy. It's not a straight line at the base. We're going to stamp this in VersaFine Clear ink, so I'm going to stamp this on top of the clear alignment panel so I can see where it's going to fall on that arch, to see if that looks good. And I think that looks pretty darn good. But at least I did it on the panel instead of stamping it on my actual piece, so that I don't wreck it and I have to start over. So that is how I do that. And then we're going to stamp right on that background panel with the Trick or Treat. Let's do one more impression on that. I think that looks good. So there's that. Looks like a little tombstone, doesn't it? A teal tombstone. Oh, okay. So for the card, we're going to add this to this is a piece of black licorice. I cut this down with one of the A2 layer stacklets panels. So I'm going to attach this directly to the card base, just with my tape runner. Oh, and it ran out. Never fear, I have a refill right here. I'm just going to clean that extra sticky out of there. I'm like, we're getting close. I better get this ready, and I better open the package so you guys don't have to watch me do that on camera. You just have to watch me flip it out. All right, there we go. Let's stick that. This is an A2 top fold card cut out of the toffee. Like that. And then let's pop this up just a little bit. So I'll grab the 1x3 thin foam strips. Grab a couple of those. Put two kind of like that, and then we'll just trim one of these to fit on that top part of that arch. Right up here. Maybe just a little bit more. Pam, you're asking if I stamped, foiled, or embossed. This is stamped. Is that what you're asking? This is stamped with sugar cube ink over the blended background, and then I stamped again with the sentiment over the top. All right, let's get this backing off. So we can adhere this arch down onto the card, and then we'll get our pumpkins. Okay, and I'm looking at the spacing on the bottom part of the arch. Make sure everything is equal. Then we're gonna put our pumpkins on. I'm gonna do the center pumpkin first, and we're gonna do this one with that thin embossing foam strips. I use these things so much. This is like my new favorite, is the 1x3s, and I'm constantly cutting them up to use on my cards. Marilyn, are you asking about the panels and all the different sizes? This is just one of the sizes. I'm trying to see if I've got all of the ones. This one is for the bigger size Misty, and there's a clear one that's the size for the bigger Misty. They're hard to see on camera. And then there is a mini slim one, which it is in here somewhere. There it is. So you get, I believe it's all, this is the 4 you get. You get an A2 size, which fits in that mini Misty. You get a mini slim size as well. You get 2 of the larger sizes that fit into the original Misty size in that clear alignment pack. It's a good basic tool for sure. The ones that we sell, we made or had made. We sell them under our name. I don't know. I would think My Sweet Petunia, maybe they would have something. I don't know what that is. Oop. Okay, so let's pop this guy on here. Right about there. And then these smaller pumpkins, I'm going to pop up with the foam squares that are the 16th inch. So they're a little bit taller than the thin foam squares. So it's going to add a little extra dimension to this card. So we've got this guy here. I'm going to trim one of these because he's going to overlap that big pumpkin just a little bit. Yes, Pam, cut the tape before you peel the paper off the back. It definitely helps with kind of the gunking up of your scissors. I think I forgot. Nope, I did not. Was feeling like it wasn't totally sticking. There we go. And then we need one for this guy. Let's do one in the middle. And he's going to go kind of right there. We're coming into the home stretch. And so to embellish the cards, we're going to add a few glitter bats. So these are bats that are cut out with Little Bits bats. There is Little Bits bats and there's Little Bits spiders. So Little Bits bats has 3 different size bats. So that's what you have there. And they are the perfect Halloween accent. And the spiders are too. And I'm trying to think if I can grab the spiders easily. Oh yeah, here they are. This is what the spiders look like. And these are the perfect Halloween card embellishments. So these, to me, these are good Halloween basics. Both Little Bits bats and Little Bits spiders, for sure. Cut them out of black glitter cardstock, both of them. You are good to go. Glitter bat, all the things. Okay, so we're gonna place, I'm just gonna visually place them down so I can see where they're gonna land. Maybe down here, and I've got some little white stars to add as well. So these I'll just put down with a little bit of adhesive from my tape runner. You could use a liquid adhesive if you wanted. You could pop them up if you wanted. I'm just gonna go flat. They've got enough pizzazz with their glitter going on. So there's our glitter bats. And let's do a few. These are the Bits and Pieces clay white stars. So I'm going to grab a few of those to just sprinkle a few stars around the bats. Hold on one second. I always overthink this star business. And again, I always place my embellishment before I commit to gluing it down because that's the whole thing too. 2 down here. Hold on one second. I want to adjust this back just a little bit. There. That's feeling good to me. And I tried, there's all sorts of fun embellishments that you can add onto your cards for this Halloween release. And I did this on one of my other cards for this release. There is the Halloween Stars and Sparkles mix. And just taking those little stars and gluing them on also is a great embellishment for Halloween as well. And of course, glitter drops and all of that sort of thing are always great. These little white stars. Stars go with so many different holidays. They are a favorite of mine for sure. I'm using my Embelly Jelly Pick and Place tool and my multimedia mat again to place these and adhere them to the card. Alrighty. There you go. Take a look at that cute Halloween card. I love the teal. I love how this month's TE Maker Challenge worked with this Halloween card, inspired by Jill Hawkins with her teal backgrounds, sour gummy, poblano pepper, and spearmint again, if you missed that. So cute. Does this get you in the mood between our Halloween release earlier this week and then this and pulling out your stuff? And like I said, we've had lots of videos online. We had a whole bunch of Halloween inspiration this week. All right, I'm going to pop you up to the top to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me today to create this cute Halloween card. It turned out really cute. I'm excited about this one for sure. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great weekend. I hope you have something crafty in store happening this weekend. I hope you guys have wonderful weather, and I will see you in a couple of weeks when our kit releases at the end of the month. So have a great weekend. Have a